the actual term, the technical term or whatever, is the cousin Oliver syndrome.
Okay.
And it dates, yeah, that dates back to the Brady Bunch and their cousin Oliver. And a lot of shows they've replicated this as a last ditch effort to boost ratings.
Happened in the 90s.
He's got a
Matthew,
thing.
I got a thing, and I want to share this thing with everyone. Um, I need everyone to sit on their magic carpets, and it's story time with Uncle Steve. So there's a thing that we kind of lightly touched on, and we talked about the Fresh Prince syndrome, and we talked about Cousin Pam on Cosby Show. The actual term, the technical term or whatever, is the cousin Oliver syndrome.
Okay.
And it dates, yeah, that dates back to the Brady Bunch and their cousin Oliver. And a lot of shows they've replicated this as a last ditch effort to boost ratings. Our youngest child is getting ugly. The little girl's on her period now. She's getting pimples. Like, let's get in another wholesome, innocent 7-year-old to bring back that innocence to our sitcom. And these are some of the 90s sitcoms that tried that. Cousin Pam, the aforementioned Cousin Pam from Cosby Show. Alex, the 227, tried this with a young Countess Vaughn, who would eventually be Miss Parker from the Parkers and Moesha. And 3J, Orlando Brown, who's now infamous for not so great things these days. He was 3J in Family Matters. He was cousin Richie's little playmate. Chrissy and Luke, Growing Pains, did it twice. They brought in a little Chrissy. She was the next Seaver child, the youngest Seaver child, and Luke, a young Leo. They brought him in, and he left, I think, halfway through that last season. Seven from Married with Children, that was a bad idea. There was Little Nicky from Fresh Prince, and we, shout out to Ross Bagwell, who also played Buckwheat and Little Rascals, but we didn't need Little Nicky. We still got Ashley. We grew with Ashley, and it grew with Ashley. Lily from Step by Step, they did another one of those. Uh, one season they're a toddler, next season they're like 9.
I don't even remember the step by step one. I remember I remember her being like knocked up, but I don't remember the kid other maybe it being a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, hey man. Apparently that was like one of the huge variables of a TV show back in the day. They were like, you gotta have a cute kid. You gotta have a cute kid. Some TNA and a cute kid.
Yeah, I wanted to put her back there because she doesn't get enough props, man. Like, people always talk about Trish Stratus and Lita. Like, oh girl, Deborah, she always came out with the puppies, and the motherfuckers was glistening. Whoever put that, like everything was, she was shiny, like the legs, she always came out super shiny. And I love that. Just like,
She has a good lotion game, Steve. I mean, Jeff Jarrett, God bless, man. The gimmick, not great. The hair used to be fabuloso, but that you gotta feel. I mean, like as a wrestler, right? There's some wrestlers who have these hotties, these ring girls or the managers, but some of wrestlers just never have them. They get like a Mr. Fuji or a Bobby the Brain. Do you think that they felt better if they had like a Jimmy the Mouth of the South Heart, a legend in his own right? Or do you just feel like more of a badass when you got goddamn Deborah walking down? I mean, I know which one I would want.
it depends on the character. I think Macho Man, he never had a male protege. He always had a hottie. He always had a dime piece on his arm, whether it was Miss
Yeah.
Elizabeth, yeah, sexy Sherry. I ain't calling her scary ever again. And we talked about what was the other girl's, Gorgeous George,
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Ah,
but it's Macho
man.
Man. He could do that. It worked.
Yeah, like IRS couldn't come down with just some bombshell, even though he might be able to too. You know, he's got money. The Internal Revenue Service has money, so there's got to be some hot like accountant chick, Miss Bills or something. You know, she comes out with a couple of bills, fans him on the tees. I got it all planned out, Steve. It's a whole thing. I've been thinking about this for years. So
Thinking about getting that 2K and creating your protege.
hell, it looks good. I've played those games, Steve. We're going all over the place, but those new 2K games, I just don't get it. The gameplay's not there for me, but maybe I need to try it again.
Yeah,
I need a
I think
2K.
I
I need
will.
a 2K wrestling game, honestly. I can we get THQ back? Can we get them back to make like an N64 style just extravaganza?
Yeah. Well, the last one I bought, I think it was 2017, and it was still good. I think they took a hiatus.
I
And you're
mean,
right, we're all over the place.
well, but if just on to end the WWE video game thing, I've seen screen caps of that game that I thought were real life, so I definitely want to check it out because it looks insane.
Back full circle to cousin Oliver. Most of the yeah, most of the shows that we're discussing, they actually use this cousin Oliver syndrome.
Well, we said it, that was, I guess, like a big point for execs in Hollywood. Get a kid on there that brings in a couple of awes. I don't even know that Leo checked that box for me in Growing Pains. He was just like a wayward teen, basically.
He was Ben's replacement, I feel, because Ben, he was the youngest Seaver. And then, as he's in high school, he's like not looked at as a little kid anymore. So it's like, let's bring in another like innocent looking kid that looks better than Ben, basically. Like
Yeah,
the youngest kid is getting ugly. We need
Ben's
help.
growth spurt got insane though. Ben's growth spurt, he went from being like a cute little kid to looking like Jeffrey Dahmer as like a 6'10" dude. Basically, he looked insane, dude.
He
The
might
rape, the
have
rapist glasses that they gave him as a teenager also just did not help him at all. It was just not a great look.
Yeah, the specs, man. The specs. Well, hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about what happened in the 90s. So get out your Luke Perry posters and your Luke Longley jerseys, because they scared to death. They scared to look. They shook, because ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. They scared to death. They scared to look. They shook. To all the killers and the $100 billers.
Hmm. How do you select which just like little snippet you go with at the beginning, Steve? Is it just like a spur of the moment thing, or do you got that in the pocket when we load up the meeting, or
I usually have it in the pocket, and we're taking a peek behind the curtain. I base it off of like what's released, what we're discussing. So it's like, all right, Chumbawamba, no. Blur, no. Oh, Mob Deep, ooh, I like that. Let's do that. If there's no album to cover, we'll try to like find a way to bring in the theme song of one of the sitcoms, kind of like last week.
yeah? But I mean, honestly, if you use Blur, I don't even know that there's words to that one song other than woo hoo.
Yeah,
He's just making up nonsense, Steve. So shout out to Blur, but
yeah, I only know about that song anyways. They had an album that was released on April 25th, but yeah,
mm-mm. No. But
no.
I'm just happy that I mean, it's good to know that you got a couple in the pocket there for me, and just I'm just waiting for it. So I just wanted everybody to know
Yeah,
Steve's
pause.
process.
There we go. But today, my friend, we're talking about all things April 25th in the 90s. Starting off in 1992, the final episode of Growing Pains airs on ABC. It's a double part, Last Picture Show, parts one and two. Um, Lasted 7 seasons, 166 episodes.
And I mean, it was a planned thing, so they're moving. It looks like empty house, fucking Curly Sue. Yeah, dude, look at
Yeah,
Ben. Look at the little serial killer over there.
yeah, like a mouse. And like there was something about sitcoms ending with somebody getting a new job. This is how this ends. Maggie, she got a new job at another city in as a journalist, because that's what she does. And it kind of ends how Home Improvement ended. Because didn't Jill have a job offer? And at first, Tim was like, and like I got tool time. I'm the breadwinner. Fuck that. And it was kind of the same thing with her and Jason. But Jason works from home. He's a psychiatrist.
Jason's got the bread anyway. So yeah, that is pretty similar though. That is very Home Improvement before Home Improvement did it. So, but if you got to end a show, that's the logical thing. They got to move. Frasier did it.
Martin did
Deceivers
it.
did it. Martin did it. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Unless it's a very special episode and everyone's like, yo, what the fuck? Growing
Yeah.
Pains got dark at the end.
Soprano style. And something I didn't even know about, Kirk Cameron was apparently a dick to a lot of people once he became born again, because halfway through this series, I want to say 89, 90, he became born again and he was pushing his beliefs on any and everyone who listened.
Oh, that's even Alan Thicke. Feel like Thicke could be like, yo, K Kirk, shut the fuck up. You know, like somebody would have, I
Well,
would have thought somebody would have put him in his place, but how weird. You become
yeah,
born again and become a dickhead.
hate those guys.
That's fucking hilarious.
And Alan Thicke was an atheist, but being the professional, he made it work. He made it work for those 7, 8 seasons, man. But apparently, Kirk Cameron and Leo didn't get along.
I mean, I I feel like Kirk Cameron now is like a pariah, but that's hilarious. You'd think he was like Mr. Sweet Goody Two Shoes, Jesus freak, and apparently everyone on set's like, "You fucking Kirk, man, just fucking shut the fuck."
And let's not forget his friend Boner, played by
It's
Andrew Koenig. Yeah, Andrew Koenig, who played Boner, he was an atheist, and that strained their relationship. R.I.P. to Andrew Koenig.
like, yeah, we just keep talking about Jesus. I'm like, hey, Kirk, believe in this motherfucker. Can we move
Yeah,
on?
it's like you're talking about no one. But yeah, man. I gotta say, even though I didn't really care too much for the show, one of the greatest theme songs.
Oh yeah. I know this was a syndication show for me. It was on like during the daytime or like on the weekends or some weird hour, like maybe USA would play it, but you'd get into it. It was one of those. It was like we weren't necessarily like around when like shows like this and like Mr. Belvedere and shit were like hugely famous. We were alive, but we were too young. But
Yeah.
um yeah, man, I got into some growing pains. I was into Alyssa Milano for a little bit myself too, also. Or not? No, she wasn't in this. I was into the chick. I'm getting things confused, but the young
The
girl in
sis
this, the daughter,
the sister? Yeah.
yeah, she was pretty hot.
She was, man. Cousin Oliver syndrome. Also in 1992, the final episode of Who's the Boss airs. 8 seasons, 196 episodes. Same deal. Tony, he just graduated from college, and now he's got an offer to be a teacher at some college in another city, and also be a football coach, and or no, baseball coach. That's what it was, baseball coach. And Angela, the boss, she's like, well, like, what do we do now? I need a housekeeper to clean this big ass house. Oh, what do we do? And like Tony, he makes a sacrifice. He says, thank you for the job, thank you for the offer, but I have to go where my heart leads me. And
Bye,
same day.
Angela.
Hey, Moner.
Well, I mean, what do you, I mean, damn, you just want this guy to be your damn housekeeper forever? This guy's trying to better himself, Angela. Chill out. Put a help wanted ad out in the fucking personals. You'll find it. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, apparently he didn't mind, but they didn't do a cousin Oliver syndrome, but maybe they should have, because Sam, the son, man, he was starting to look pretty gnarly in those later years.
I wasn't hugely into Who's the Boss. Again, that was another syndication show, and I liked it. I knew what it was, but it wasn't my thing. I love
There's a
Tony Danza.
time. Another great theme song, man. But that, that same day, 92, MacGyver. Unfortunately, they just abruptly ended with The Stringer. That's the name of their episode. 7 seasons, 139 episodes. Um,
I don't like that they didn't have a plan for that. It just ended, but how MacGyver though? It's unexpected. You never know what this guy's gonna do. It's MacGyver. So, but Steve, the last episode I saw in the ad, and you can see behind you, Fucking MacGyver's got a kid.
So he thinks. And the Stringer, the
Oh,
episode's about MacGyver and his young Chinese friend are again at odds with the Chinese criminals over labor regulations. During his investigation, Mac is helped by a photojournalist biker named Sam. It turns out that Sam has more than just a passing interest in MacGyver. He believes that MacGyver is his father. And this picture, that's supposed to be MacGyver with Sam. And I don't know, man. It looks like a postcard from I don't know, Chippendales.
that's like the picture inside a frame that you buy at like a Harley Davidson store. It has like it's a Harley Davidson frame. That's bizarre. I
Yeah,
don't know that if I had a son, I'd want to take a photo with matching leather jackets. It just seems like a weird look.
it's in the DNA. They like the leather, and maybe this was a last ditch effort as a cousin Oliver, this son of MacGyver.
Son of MacGyver. They were going to do an offshoot, Steve. MacGyver Jr. He's out
But
there. That's crazy, though. You're not going to give Richard Dean Anderson the goddamn fucking respect of giving him a nice, proper send off like you did these other people?
he didn't care.
He's
He
probably
said he
knee
was
deep
ready.
in trim, Steve. He didn't give a shit.
Yeah, he said he was ready to move on. He was exhausted, and everyone else on the set was exhausted.
What season did they get to? They got deep into it, like seven.
7 seasons, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. So he got paid, and I do like that he was like, "Yeah, I didn't give a shit. I was actually
Yeah,
happy about it."
they're gonna make reboots and TV movies anyways. But that following year, 93, Lorne Michaels chooses Conan O'Brien, who was the writer for The Simpsons at the time and a former writer for SNL, to fill David Letterman's old seat directly after The Tonight Show on NBC.
I didn't know Lorne Michaels had like the ultimate say of that. I wasn't aware of that part of it, but man, he nailed it.
Well, if you look at the involvement of Conan O'Brien's show, man, you got Robert Smigel, you have some other players who were writers on SNL, and he was the executive producer. It was up to Lorne Michaels to make that decision, I guess, man. And they couldn't find a better person. You know,
Dude is so prolific. He actually has a show out now that's really great too, where he's like just goes out and meets people in like foreign countries and stuff. But man, this era too, like that early shit. I remember
yeah.
when I was a little kid and I wasn't even into like talk shows, but I remember one summer we were at somebody's house. I was up late and it was on, and I saw like one of these wacky skits, and it just fucking captivated me as a little kid. So, um, man, I hate the way it kind of ended, but I feel like his story, it's still going and stuff. And yeah, he's definitely my favorite late night talk show host of all time.
And the legend continues, man. In that following year, 1994, Fresh Prince is airing season 4, episode 22. M is for the many things she gave me. Uncle Phil's ex girlfriend is attracted to Will. Hilarity and horniness ensues.
Well, I don't blame you, bro. Everything that happened here, I wish happened to me. Um, Steve, I'm gonna let you take over because even just that image has got me just breathless. So,
Yeah, things that live rent free, those zebra pants. So Uncle Phil, we start the episode off with him checking out pics of him and his old flame, his old gal Janice Robertson. And Will comes in, and we find out that Janice is coming to town. And he asks Uncle Phil, "Is Aunt Viv cool with that?" Shit, she ain't got no choice. I pay the bills in this motherfucker.
yeah, but he gets real like honest with Will. He's like, you know, once I realized that Janice was just kind of putting me into the friend zone, I decided to settle for your Aunt Viv. And he says those words. And as he says those words, he looks behind him, and Aunt Viv is like listening to this. And he's like, oh, shit. I mean, that might be a divorce right then and there, Steve. That's a long talk.
Like, no one wants to hear that. So yeah, I settled for the person that I have now. Like,
God damn. I
motherfucker.
mean, you're a damn lawyer, bro. Say less. And this is Will. This ain't goddamn your diary. I don't know. I trust this little motherfucker with that knowledge, but hey, fuck it. But
I
Will,
mean,
I like how Will, even like, this is another thing. Like, I'd whoop his ass because that happens. Uncle Phil's chasing his marriage up the stairs. And then Will's like, Jeffrey, prepare Uncle Phil's couch. I'd be like, if I heard that, I'd be like, motherfucker, just storm down and whoop his ass, Steve.
and cue that classic theme song. You
Mm.
find out that they weren't even intimate. That's what Ashley says, because she overheard the argument her and her dad and her mom had. And Hillary, she comes in and says she's going to replace the current talk show host on the local TV show, who went into a coma apparently.
And she's happy about that. But Will finds out about Janice also having a daughter. He's like, is this more like a Ashley age or what are we talking here? Finds out she's 18, which he's getting ready to go. And then when Carlton realizes that Will thinks that he's gonna get in, like it's a foregone conclusion. Carlton's like, hey, dude, what do you think? Like, am I chopped meat over here? I bet you $100 that I'm gonna get the pussy before you do. Which, I mean, Carlton, come on, dude. Come on. You know.
It's the Fresh Prince. And they're making side bets. And I like how Jeffrey, he dips into Carlton's wallet while he was looking away. And he's like, you know what? I'll place a wager as well, Master Quill. Like,
he wants in on that, actually. He's like, I've never thought of, it's been a long time since I've had a sure thing. And yeah, but then Janice walks in. And I mean, God bless Steve. Janice, played by Pam Grier. And this is a Jackie Brown era Pam Grier. This might be a little bit before that, but I mean, God damn it. God damn it. See, she's probably younger than us in this. Maybe not, but.
nah, Elise Neal is for sure. And I don't know if you've seen Elise Neal lately, but fuck Mary Kill.
Wendy.
Yeah, Wendy is played by Elise Neal, who's mostly famous for being the wife on the Hughley show. But man, you're talking about a lady that keeps herself together. And even Will and Uncle Phil, they looking just like, damn.
Yeah, dude. Then we cut to dinner. Uncle Phil, I mean, he needs to fucking learn to chill. Because he's just like gushing over Janice at the table. And I mean, oh yeah, Viv's, she's right over there, dude. I mean, damn.
Aunt Viv is with the shits this whole episode. And
but I
rightfully
get
so.
it though. I mean, like, I get it. It's not right, Steve. It's not right. But I mean, damn.
It's
Foxy
Pam.
Brown is motherfucker over there.
Coffee.
Dude. Oh, it's a fucking real one because it honestly, dude, if he just said, I'm going to throw it all away and go away with Janice, I'd almost get it. All that responsibility, I'd almost get it, but he shouldn't, Steve. This is because it's Pam Grier. She's so goddamn hot.
But the divorce settlements and what I hear in California are ridiculous. So, you got to hear that higher voice, man. And, they're flirting low key. I haven't seen you since the college reunion, Phil. And, while that's going on, Jeffrey's chopping up Carlton's food and he's trying to mac on Wendy. And she's like, are you eating prunes? I have this theory about regularity. We can go more in depth about it, later.
I mean, just straight, I mean, not even old people just bow down prunes like that, but that's not good dinner conversation, Carl. And you know that if you were Will, who's going to get in them things. But, Carlton's making a fool of himself. Uncle Phil's treading the razor thin wire of divorce at dinner. And then we cut to, I think, just like the hotel, and Will got Wendy out, took her out on the town. They're having a great time. He even gets a little peck gets a little peck. It's a little smooch. But he's like, hey, man, I wish we could keep going, but it sucks. You got your, like, a room with your mom. I can't come in. And she's like, oh no, I have my own room. And he's like, yes. Yes. But she's playing it cool, Steve. She's old fashioned. She's not a hooah.
and things are moving too fast for Wendy. We need to slow it down. And so they kiss each other goodbye and good night. And as Will's leaving, he runs into Janice and she asks him about that earthquake story and shaking the earth. She wants to hear more. She wants to get business tonight.
Well, that's why she's in town, Steve. That sounds real sexual, but the story was that she's compiling earthquake stories for something. So, like Steve said, she sees him in the lobby or outside of her room, and she's like, "Come on in, tell me
Yeah.
some more about these earthquakes." And Will's gets real bashful, Steve. He's like, yeah, maybe, but there's no way you're going to resist this. There's absolutely none. This is the dream, Steve. This is the dream right here.
And because Janice is talking to him from another room, and when she comes out of the room, she's wearing a robe, and he's just like, "Oh, you know what? It's my time to go." And she's like, "Don't worry, I'm just trying to get more comfortable." Well, usually when a woman wants to get more comfortable, they want to get more comfortable.
She's like, "Will, I gained a little weight. My outfit was just a little tight, so that's all it is."
Yo, I
Oh,
feel
sorry
bad.
about that. Sorry. She's like, "So more about these earthquakes. I think there's one that's about to happen in this bed." And he's like, "Wait, what?" That's not what happens. But basically, Steve, Janice is a hungry bear and she's going to eat, as she does, Steve. So the Fresh Prince, he's already living the greatest life a teenage kid could live in Bel-Air. He's now wet, fucked, goddamn Pam Grier at one of the finest, Steve. Just looking so goddamn hot.
Because it started off kind of innocent. She asked if he wanted to see these pictures of Wendy in Saint Tropez. And as he's going through the pictures, he sees a picture of her with no bra on. He's like, that's you with no top. Well, that's what they do in Saint Tropez. I was like, really? I'm about to go to the lobby and get some of them free brochures. Free brochures. Well, you're not going anywhere.
Oh, thank
Yes, Miss
you.
Robinson.
I love that her name is Mrs. Robinson too. I mean, isn't that the famous
The
like yeah,
the
dude.
Graduate. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is totally a callback to Graduate, man. And the next day,
Mm.
Will he tries to sneak in with the same clothes on from last night, and Uncle Phil he spots him. He sees him because he was forced to sleep outside. Aunt Vivian said the couch was too good for him, and he asked Will, "So did you get to spend time with Wendy's mother?" And he was like, "No, man, stop. No. We ain't
Hey,
having sex or nothing."
hey, what's that? I gotta go. I mean, damn, dude, how powerful is Aunt Viv that Uncle Phil is sleeping on lawn furniture for the whole night? Damn. I mean, but he deserves it, Steve. He
Hey,
deserves it.
divorce
God.
settlements in California. Just ask Kanye. And he even says like before she leaves, you really need to spend some time with her. She has a lot to offer. Well, more than you know.
Mm.
What'd you say? Oh, I was just saying like I'm about to go watch The Crow. Brandon Lee, man, like he crazy, man. That's wild.
I said I wish it would snow. It's California, man. There's no snow here. I just thought about it, but damn, that, I mean, definitely go home and just square that away in your spank bank. Will just it's because it's never gonna get better than that. Uh,
Never.
but later, Wendy and Will come back. I think they went to see a movie or something, but they're really hitting it off, Steve. She's a little hottie. They got a little connection. They're talking about Grace Jones versus Cleopatra Jones. They're getting into it. She seems to have like some cool taste. So I
Some
don't know. There's some chemistry here.
some little references to black exploitation, considering we got the queen of black exploitation in this episode, and they're making out and bonding. And as that happens, Janice walks in, and I like Will's reaction. He's
I mean, and then he's like, you know what? I gotta get some lunch. But Janice wants dessert, Steve. This cougar's out on the prowl, and she's just. But I mean, just think of this. Just take yourself out of the episode real quick. This man, the Will has now. He's approaching like a generational thing here, where both these women are fine, right? But he's already had the mom. he's going after the daughter still. I mean, he's still macking on Wendy. So his thing could have gone into some, we'll see where it leads. But this guy, Steve, this guy's a fucking he's real deal. And I love what he's done already. This is fantastic.
He's a legend. And Carlton, he's in his feels because he's just, griping to Ashley saying, I can't believe she went out with Will. I actually have respect for Wendy. And Ashley's like, you put a $200 bet on her. Yeah, but it was a respectful bet.
That's good money too. $100, if it was like a $5 bet, I get it. But $100 in the 90s? Phil and Janice start talking because, Phil's like a puppy dog when this woman comes around. And they're basically just like reminiscing, sharing some good times. And Aunt Viv is constantly just like in the corner, like, this motherfucker. And I think Aunt Viv at some point in the middle of like their memories is just like, hey, I'm here. Hey, Vivian, your wife's here.
Janice is trying to play nice. Like, I just want to tell you, Vivian, that you have a beautiful home and a beautiful family. And she's just like, excuse me, I have a baby to look after, our baby to look after. And Janice asked Phil, like, so how about you come back to my room? And, it'd be more business than pleasure. But, just, a quick catch up and, to add on to these stories of the earthquake. And Will sees this because at first Uncle Phil's like, nah, I don't know about that. I'm already in the doghouse. And then he finally relents and says, like, okay, sure. And Will steps in like, no, you know what, Uncle Phil, let me holler at you right quick in the kitchen.
Man, there's a fire over here, man. We got to go. We'll be right back.
So you said Janice was the one that got away, right? Yeah. Well, last night she didn't get away from me. Man, what are you talking about? Well, man, I went to the room and she wanted to talk about the earthquake. So I went to the room and she said she wanted to slip into something comfortable. Then was talking and showed me some pictures of sand, saying something. And before I knew it, ta-da, 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 tad. Oh, you suffered, Janice.
And he doesn't say that in a whisper, Steve. He says that in a scream that everyone hears in Bel-Air, including everyone at the house. And that also includes Wendy, the daughter, Aunt Viv, and Viv's
Ashley
like,
and Carlton.
yeah, everybody hears it. So like Aunt Viv's like, hey, also there's like I got to know what the ages are here, but there might be some weird legal issue going on. It's the 90s, so I guess we're going to overlook that part of it. But Aunt Viv's like, you got to go. It's bad enough you want to fuck my husband. Now you're fucking a kid that we got in the house. I mean, is anyone like, don't fuck Carlton, please? And Carlton's like, please.
And
Please.
Janice leaves and she's like, too bad. We could have had something special. Uncle Phil says, I have something special. And looks at Aunt Viv, who's like,
who's right there, Janice? Jesus Christ. This woman is gonna get shot, I think, Steve. She wants to commit suicide by Aunt Viv.
It's called pretty girl privileges. You can get away with hood rat shit like that.
At least Uncle Phil does that, and also I don't know what's going to happen with Janice and Wendy because there's a whole thing there that's going to have to get mulled over between mother and daughter. But, Will learned his lesson, Steve, and he tells Uncle Phil after everyone's gone, he's like, thanks, Uncle Phil. You taught me a really good lesson here that I'm only going to mess with ugly chicks' moms, or ugly moms, basically. Something like that. I mean, you know what? That might serve you good, but Will, you have experienced something that a small percentage of men are going to get to experience. So God bless. And Uncle Phil even gets in the good graces of Aunt Viv enough to sleep back inside. It's not up in the bedroom yet, but he did get back into the house, Steve, on the couch.
It's a slow crawl. And in the outro, we see that Hillary's going to lose her job that she just got. The replacement, the person that she was replacing, is come out of the coma, and she just throws a fit at one of the executives, and she's just like, you know what? What about that sexual harassment? I'm gonna claim it. I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna sue you.
Okay, I don't know, Hillary. I don't know if you're gonna get a job at all after that. She completely loses her shit. And if that was on live air, she would be a meme. But that was, she didn't handle it well, Steve.
She'll get a job on Major Payne. But somebody who probably didn't watch this episode in 1994 is probably Chumbawamba because they released Anarchy. And I don't give a fuck about Chumbawamba or Anarchy, but this album cover, it was pretty interesting. When I Googled it, it even put on one of those sensitive, you got to click on it to unveil it. I don't know if I should be showing it on here, maybe. Yeah.
Whoa! Damn, I didn't know they went like that.
Yeah.
Chumbawamba. Keep it cool, dude. Oh,
And
that's a little graphic.
yeah, and I did add this song to the playlist called "Mouthful of Shit" because it's hilarious. Can't eat because your mouth full of shit. Can't eat because your mouth full of shit. Do something about it. Do something about it. Can't eat because your mouth full of shit. Can't eat because your mouth full of shit. Do something about it. Yeah, but that following year, 1995, Mobb Deep releases the infamous "To All the Killers and the $100 Billers." Down, 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 down. Man, one of the most iconic rap albums ever.
This was not their first album, was it?
This is their second album. Their first
Okay.
one was Juvenile Hell in 93. But this one is like when people talk about Mobb Deep, this is the first one they point to, man. It got a 5-star rating on Rolling Stone, All Music, Pitchfork. It got 10 out of 10 on Pitchfork. And just the features, man, it's got features from Nas, Raekwon on the same song, Eye for an Eye. There's Survival of the Fittest. Only the strong survive. Big Noid, he's all throughout this. Ghostface Killer, Q-Tip, man, he had a heavy hand in the production of this. And Shook Ones, man. Anyone who's seen 8 Mile, they're very familiar with Shook Ones, Part 2.
Yeah, I got into Mobb Deep late. I feel like they got picked up by like G Unit at some point, like later on.
Yep, they
So I
did.
think I knew about them, but I started listening to them more when like at that point. So I was like a late adopter. But yeah, dude, Mobb Deep's legendary. It's crazy. 93. Like
Yeah,
when you
this came
said
out
their
in 95.
well, you said their first
Yeah,
album came out in 93. So I mean, damn, that's what,
yeah.
30 plus now.
30 plus, man. And I mean, they were youngsters, they were teenagers when they first started, man. Just hungry cats from Queens. And I mean, this isn't just from the 90s, man. This is one of the most iconic rap albums ever. Like the album cover, people immediately can recognize like what this album is, man.
Sometimes there's like a name is really badass and gets your attention just from the coolness of the name. And I feel like Mob Deep, you're just instantly like, what's that?
And somebody who probably didn't listen to Mobb Deep in 1995 is probably American game show host Art Fleming, died at the age of 70 in Crystal River, Florida. You want to know what game show he hosted back in the day?
Art Fleming. It wasn't, I don't know, Steve. What was it?
Art Fleming was the original host of Jeopardy.
Whoa. Well, there's a reason you
Yeah,
don't really remember that name too much, especially with that show. But Art Fleming, he walked
yeah,
so
man.
Alex Trebek could run.
He hosted originally from 1964 to 75, and then it went away. They brought it back. He was the host from 78 to 79. Ironically, Matt, he died the same way Alex Trebek did from pancreatic cancer.
Something on the Jeopardy set, Steve. They got some chemicals in there. I think there's something's going on, gas leak or something. I don't like
All
that.
that it's all that knowledge, man, and they just keep it in. I don't know. I bet you didn't know who knew or didn't know about any of this. Also in 1995,
Ooh,
probably American actress, singer, and dancer Ginger Rogers died at the age of 83 in Rancho Mirage, California, of a heart attack.
hmm. Rancho Mirage, not the best place, but uh, what's she known for? She's like an like old school pinup chick. It looks like a Marilyn
She
Monroe type.
she was, and she's mostly known for her duos with Fred Astaire. All of those old school movies with Fred singing and dancing, and he always had the pretty lady with him. That was Ginger Rogers, man. And she made 73 films. She's ranked number 14 on AFI's 100 years of 100 stars list of female stars.
Ginger Rogers,
Yeah.
just Hollywood hottie from the early mid-century Hollywood, I guess.
Made it all the way to 83. In 1997, Boy Meets World is airing season 4, episode 21, Cult Fiction. Sean is asked to join a teenage cult, but rethinks his new belief system when Turner is injured. Another cult.
Yeah, really cults are at the everybody's the top of everybody's mind. But I guess you think about it, there was the Heaven's Gate thing. So that was, I don't know if that coincided with this, was before or after, but yeah, dude, people super concerned about cults, I guess. And the guy, if you got a guy as charismatic as the best friend from Teen Wolf, you got some concerns because that's who he is, Steve. I was trying to figure out who this fucking guy was, Mr. Mac.
Jerry Levine.
Yeah, I think he was in Teen Wolf if you look that up. I didn't look it up, but yeah, dude. And Sean, Mr. Turner, who Steve referenced in that little description, is the teacher for the uninitiated. He's the cool teacher. He's the one that everyone respects. He rides a motorcycle. And him and Sean, I think if we watched previous episodes, he actually took care of Sean. He's more than a father figure to Sean. There's a personal relationship there. But in this episode, I think Sean's parents have actually come back. So they're not quite there as far as like living together. But Mr. Turner is giving Sean the business because he's not putting in any effort, Steve. I got this talk from a lot of teachers myself. Not as cool as Mr. Turner, but basically Mr. Turner's like, dude, fucking, this is high school's about to be over with. Like, what the fuck are you? Who are you? What do you want to do?
Oh, you live with me. I'm a teacher. That's the difference between us and Sean. Like, we didn't live with teachers. We
Yeah.
might have had some like not so great grades, but like, bro, like the answers are literally in the next room. How are you?
Yeah. And Sean, he's trying to blow it off because he's a teenager and he wants to be a little prick. And that kind of ends. And then Sean just like picking up his stuff, and this girl Sherry walks over. Sherry's a little cute little high school chick, but she's got this weird tone of voice. But she's basically like, "Hey, Sean, like crazy how judgmental Mr. Turner is. Like, I don't like judgmental people. It's not cool, you know."
I have 100 people who care about me. I can't believe he said you only have half a dozen people who care about you. I have enough people that care about me to not even embarrass me like that. Right, Sean? Right. That was pretty wicked, right? You should come with me and have a drink of coffee. Like, it'll be on me. Like, don't worry about it. Like, come meet my friends.
And Sean obviously dickmatized at this point. He's just following the tip of his dick, which this is where I get scared, Steve, because I know what I was like as a guy, as a little high school kid. And I never was in close proximity to a cult. But if a hottie, if this is the tactic, I feel like I probably would have gotten pulled into a cult, but maybe they just didn't want fat kids or whatever. But I just feel like it's a tried and true method that I know I would have fallen for as a child, Steve.
The cult was Perrysburg High School that we escaped.
Yeah, truthfully, but she's basically, and also, okay, cool chick, hottie, walks up, making some conversation. I like that. But anytime somebody's like, hey, let's go to the center, I'd be like, okay, let me get some more information. But, that's where they're going, Steve. So we cut to the center, which is basically like a G-rated Foot Clan layer with some like arcade games, some wayward white kids, and just some nice comfortable couches, Steve. It looks like a fun hang, honestly.
And some off-brand colas. So they get there to the hangout, and she tells them like, oh, these are all my friends. They're all your friends? Yeah, and they can be your friends too. and she's talking about this Mr. Mac guy and how remarkable he is, and he's like the most interesting human being she's ever met. And he's like, "Well, who's this Mr. Mac?" And of course, Mr. Mac just pops up mysteriously. He
Hello.
already, yeah, he already knows about Sean.
Yeah, it's again, this guy's charismatic. He's a cult leader. He's got this nice like he's trying to pull off like a reverend for like a youth camp or something. He's got, it's almost priest-esque. He's got the whole get up on. He's very calm. He's very
Right.
non-judgmental. He's like, we don't judge anybody here, Sean. Sean's like, I don't know. This is kind of weird. He's like, you hear that? You're being judgmental. You don't want to do that. And I'm Mr. Mack, and I'm here. I'm here to be your friend. We're all here to be your friends. And this. I mean, clearly, anybody with some common sense is going to go to themselves. This is a cult. I got 15 hugs when I walked in here, and everybody's making real direct eye contact. Uh, but Sean, Steve, he needs a dad figure. He needs some love. He's missing out.
Despite the fact he already had one and he ignored his advice. And he's just like dickmatized, like he said, man. He was promised some HJs probably along the way by Sharon. And the fact that Mr. Mack is continuously saying his name anytime he's addressing him. Right, Sean? Yes, Sean. We're the best, Sean. You should join us. We accept all people from all walks of life, Sean. Oh, Mr. Mack, you must really like my name, Mr. Mack.
I
Don't you,
do,
Mr. Mack?
Sean. I do. But
Here's a clue.
Sean, here's one thing I don't want you to be judgmental, which is what all these people in your life are. But when you come to the center and you come hang out with the Mac Daddy himself, this is a judgment free zone. So why don't you come over, bud? Bring up a sleeping bag, hang out. Here's a diet right for you. Here's a
Yeah.
caffeine free diet right.
Everyone's drinking it, right, Sean? And we cut to the next scene, and Corey shows up, and he's just like, "All right, Sean, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a while." And he's like, "Dude, is this a cult? What is this center? What is this shit? What is this shit? Is this a cult?" It's like, "See, don't judge us, Corey. We are not a
Mr.
cult."
Mac told me you were going to judge this. And it's a whole thing, man. I'm just trying to give you a hug. And Corey's like, dude, come on,
Yeah.
man. Like, this is crazy. But Sean's like, hey, man, you have a home. You got all that. I don't. I'm just looking for some place to go, man. In the center, it's pretty fucking dope. They got Narc, the video game, free play. I can just go endless continues, dude. It's crazy. And Mountain Mist, all the cans you could drink, dude.
Sean is all in, and I think we're back at the school where he's talking to Turner. Turner asked him about the center, and Sean's like, "You're just being judgmental. I always feel like something's been missing from my life." And Turner's like, "Man, I've never realized you were going through this, man. Like, you could have easily just told me about this. Like, I could help you get through whatever you're dealing with." And the center cares about me. But Turner, he's already over this shit. It's like, enough of this, man. Look, you don't need that place, right? You're one of the most unique people I've ever known, man. And if you go to that center, they'll ruin all of that. They want you to
And
be just like them.
and he's like, you're calling me out for being judgmental, but you're just judging what he's like trying to put that over on him too and show him like the logic issue with all that. But yeah, Sean's fully hypnotized now. Mr. Max got in his head. Sherry's promising, a little something. So maybe over the pants stuff, if nothing else, at the center. So, Mr. Turner, you just can't get through yet. So we cut back to the center. And now Corey and his brother Eric show up just to kind of check things out. And Corey's very suspicious of everything, as is Eric at first. But then Eric sees the trim around and is like, here's my wallet, here's my social security card. Where do I sign up? Okay.
All these hugs, all these hugs. This is gonna lead to something, right? Because he was just telling Corey, like, "Man, look, only the weak-willed people fall for this." Oh, hi, I'm Alexandria. Oh, hi,
Hey,
I'm Eric.
hey, Sunflower, what's up? You look pretty
Yeah,
today.
His new name is Sunflower Fortunato, by the way.
Yeah, that's what it was. And again, he's given up his wallet and stuff and his identity, or at least trying to. But Corey sees Sean here, and he's like, "Dude, like you're being manipulated, dude. Like you just keep saying this weird shit. You're trying to give everybody hugs. We would have trashed these people a week ago, but I don't know what's going on here. Like, is she blowing you? Like, is that what's going on? Tell me. We're boys."
You're gonna stay with these juji fruits, and he keeps bringing up this whole like I need to find myself. Like, dude, look, Mr. Matt can't help you because you don't even know what you want in life, man. So like, make that make sense. And like, you know what? I can already tell you now. Every time you turn around, he's going to be there. Watch this. He turns around, and Mr. Mac is right there.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, hey, Corey, nice that you're here because Sean, this is his initiation night where he becomes an official member of the center," which is like, what is it? You fucking give him a fucking stale Coke Zero or whatever. It's a drink. He's like, "You got to let me pee on your shoes, Sean, and then you're in." Something weird.
They do some eyes wide shut shit. Our
Oh,
new
God.
life member, and this is for life. It's like a marriage or something, man. Sean Hunter is the new life member. So Corey, he turns to his parents and Feeney, because you know nobody gives better advice in sitcom history. Might be Wilson. They're about neck and neck, but you know, while he's talking to them, Sean he actually shows up, and Eric is with him. And Eric, they say to Eric, like, "Thanks for bringing Sean back." Sean says, "Well, I actually had to bring Eric back. Mr. Mack thought he wasn't sincere. He was only in it for the hugs." Eric's like, "Yeah, Eric might be
Dude.
one of my favorite characters, bro."
He's like, "Dude, did you see all that? That was crazy.
Yeah.
Let me go get a pillow, get some extra clothes, and I'm going back there." But he's banned. He's a little too eager to be in the cult. What we also find out here, because Mr. Feeney's like some sort of like weird Batman in this city, where he's like, "Oh, the center, like I'm already on to them. I tried to get that motherfucker kicked out of town a long time ago." Um, but as they get into it, Sean gets defensive. He doesn't want to hear what they're saying, and he keeps turning it on. Like he's like, "You guys are just judging us, man. Like
Yeah.
it's you can't judge me." Um, and Mr. Feeney even steps up and is like, "You can't. Like I know about this guy. This is a cult. You need to get out of it. This is Fiend Dog talking to you,
Yeah.
Mr. Feeney, the one." So, and that's not even enough, Steve.
And you're full of shit too, because this isn't a belief, Sean. That what you're doing right now is an escape from beliefs. Like the center, it's void of beliefs. He's just preying on young impressionable minds. And Feeney, he goes away because I think he got a phone call or whatever. And so the Corey's parents, they're grilling Sean, and the dad asks, like, "So before this center fiasco, did you believe in God?" And crickets. Right
Yeah,
after he asked that, yeah, Feeney comes back and he says, "Mr. Turner got into a motorcycle accident."
yeah,
So everyone's attention just veered left, man.
yeah. But essentially, what they were trying to get into Sean's head was, "Dude, you don't even know who you are. Like, you have to figure out that shit and not let some guy tell you who you are," which is what's happening. So now we're at the hospital. Corey, Eric, and Topanga are waiting. Sean's not there right now, which is weird. But then Sean does show up. But Mr. Max like, "Hey, I'm here too, kids."
I'm
And
Philip Mack.
Feeney's like literally sees him and like immediately he's like, "Dude, you need to get the fuck out of here now." But Mr. Max like, "Hey man, that's a little judgmental for my taste, and I'm just here for my bro Haim Sean. So just Mac Man's gonna stand in the background. Like don't even act like I'm here, guys." But
Are you centered, Feeney?
I like how this guy has like a serial killer energy too, because he knows somebody's onto him, and that almost entices him to like poke the bear. Because he's like, "Hey, Mr. Feeney, I just wanted to let you know there's no hard feelings about you trying to get me arrested, and it's cool. I've forgiven you for your judgment, so maybe you can learn to forgive yourself. Okay?"
And Feeney plays into this. You forgive me? Oh, you were. And, you know, what's Corey's dad's name?
Mr. Matthews.
Mr. Matthews. So Mr. Matthews, he stops feeling like, dude, you're basically like getting baited into what he wants you to do. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. And so he talks to Mr. Mack. He's like, look, Mac, you're not talking to little kids anymore. We're grown adults and we're on to you. We know what you're trying to do. And you know what? Matter of fact, Sean Hunter is the best friend that my son has ever had. And I made a vow a long time ago that I will kill to protect Sean Hunter. And he even pushes him into the wall.
Yeah, this
Mr.
motherfucker, he
Matthews.
wants to get brolic, Steve. He almost fucking jacks, dude. But he holds back. But I mean, damn, Sean, you got an adult male saying that he will kill for you. I know you don't
Yeah.
live with them, but you got at least one dude in your corner that's not Corey. And I gotta say, dude, Corey Matthews straight up giving some great advice in that other scene you were talking about, where he's like, dude, you don't even know who the fuck you are, bro. Like, I've never had a friend talk to me like that. So Corey, you and your dad are fucking, you're good. I like
the
that.
the Matthews family, bro. You like Sean, you have a family of people who aren't even your blood relatives who care about you, man. Like you got some riders, ride or die. And while that's going on, they're talking to Mac. He's like, you know what? It's up to Sean, right, Sean? And when he turns around, Sean's already in the room with Mr. Turner and Topanga and Corey.
Yeah. And he's freaking out. Sean doesn't know how to cope with trauma or dramatic things, and he's like, "Man, I gotta go, man. Like, Mr. Mac's gonna make this all go away and make me feel better." And they're like, "Dude, this is fucking real life. Chill the fuck out, and like, this is happening now, so you gotta face this." And he's like, I don't like. He can't talk. That's not Mr. Turner. This isn't like I don't know what's. I can't handle this, which I get. It's traumatic, but I don't do they leave and just leave Sean in the room, because then Sean's
Well,
basically alone with Mr. Turner, and I don't want to go ahead before you say what you were about to say.
Well, once again, Corey keeps it all the way real with his friend. He's like, hey, man, Mr. Turner took you in. You love him and he loves you. Now you're going to stay here. He's basically telling him, like Beanie Siegel, bro, like, no, you're going to stay here. Me and her, we can leave. You can't. You need to be here, man. He needs you. And this is the moment, man. Pulling on the heartstrings, very TGIF Miller Boyette. And he's just like, dude, I'm supposed to be the one screwing up. You can't screw up, man. Everything you do is perfect. You're Mr. Turner, man. Like, how could you screw up on the bike? I've seen you do so many tricks, man. You're one of the coolest people I know. And now he's calling for God.
Yeah. He actually now he's just like pleading with God to, save him, and just getting like, I mean, the lines are crazy. He's like, I don't want to be empty inside anymore. I mean, he's pleading for something. Uh, and he's like, even if he can't talk, I just want him to know I love him, and this and that. And as he's saying those words, Mr. Turner like squeezes his hand. So he's good. That's very touching. We cut to outside the room, and he's like, he's gonna be good. I'm not a doctor, but he squoze my hand. We're good here. And Mr. Mack sees Sean, is like, oh, hey, all is good here. Let's go back to the center, right, Sean? And he's like, okay, yeah, I do want to go back. And everyone's like, yo, what the fuck? And he's like, to pick my shit up, Mr. Mack, you little bitch.
I'm done with being empty. I'm done with being easy. I'm done with you. Well, Sean, we'll always be there for you.
And he even says, I don't know if it says it right here, but I think he says it to the parents. He's like, and if he doesn't come back with me, there's plenty more fish in the sea. This guy's a real piece of shit, Steve. Except when
Yeah.
he's hanging out with Teen Wolf, and then he's cool. He's cool as shit. But
And that was
Sean,
him, by the way.
it was, yeah, I could tell the face. It's just dead on. I think he had the same hair, but yeah, man, Sean's gonna go back, live with the Matthews. Mr. Turner, he's fucked up. I mean, look at him. Dude looks like he just got all the way fucked up. But yeah, man. Now Sean, he's got a family, Steve. And now he has a
He
little
did have one.
relationship with the big man upstairs. So maybe that'll continue.
Well, it led him to getting a hot black girlfriend later in a couple more seasons, man. And this is the last time Mr. Turner makes an appearance on this show. He didn't die, because I believe in the graduation episode, Fink Minkus, he pops up and he calls Mr. Turner, but we don't see him. He's like, "Oh, hey, Mr. Turner," is one of them deals, but he's off screen, and that lets us know that Mr. Turner didn't die.
He's out there, Steve, just riding on a fucking steel horse, Bon Jovi style. So take it easy, though. Hopefully, he must have been wearing a helmet. He's alive, but that's crazy. That's hilarious. He's this big monumental character, and they're like, yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah. In a way, Boy Meets World, they kind of did a cousin Oliver because Angela, Sean's future girlfriend, she shows up, and then the Lawrence brother,
Oh
he
yeah,
shows up.
yep, yeah, man. Angela, shout out to Angela too. Really gave me hope that a lowly white boy could find some love outside of the white chick, Steve. So shout out to Angela and Sean. I love that, and shout out to Sean. He's a dummy. He gets real brainwashed real quick, but he snapped out of it. And I gotta say, I think it's because he's got Corey as a friend, Steve. Because Corey, this motherfucker, is willing to tell you the truth, and I shout out. I love that.
We ain't shit without our homeboys. And that same year, 1997, Romy and Michelle's high school reunion premieres in theaters, directed by David Merkin, starring Mira Sorvino, Lisa Kudrow, Janine Garofalo, and Alan Cumming. Um, I went into this expecting it to be a piece of shit, but I actually enjoyed it, Matt.
Yeah,
It's actually it's something that I love to see when the what is it, the Gilmore girls, the Heathers of high school, they end up being frumpy and just knocked up and barefoot all the time. And it's just like, gotta put on my flats. We got another reunion. And they marry their high school sweetheart who was like the high school quarterback, and he was getting all these accolades and all the kisses on his butt and pats on the dick and all that shit, and like now he's a fucking chud. Yeah, all of that happened in Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. And I forgot how hot Mira Sorvino was.
yeah, she's definitely a 90s hottie. And this was a movie that I too was surprised because I had a girlfriend that made me watch this a long time ago. Watched it thinking, fuck, here's an hour or whatever of my life I'm not going to get back. But it's fun, man. And like you said, everybody can understand this. I've never gone to a high school reunion, but just wanting to impress people that you should not give a fuck about. They make up huge lies and stories and whatnot. So it's fun, man. You even get a little Lisa Kudrow acting goofy as fuck. It's great.
She was always my favorite. I don't like Friends, but if we're talking about like the fuck Mary Kill, everybody likes Courtney Cox or you're a Jennifer Aniston person. I always thought Lisa Kudrow was the hottest.
Well, you like sensational Sherry too. You just have skewed taste. But I was more of an Aniston stan myself. But Lisa Kudrow. I mean, shit, man. I ain't fucking ever gonna get to that echelon anyway. And she was in a movie called Lucky Numbers, I believe, with John Travolta, where they scammed the lottery, and she was
Mm.
looking fine as fuck in that. I think that was her, maybe not.
And shout out to Alan Cumming too, man. I always thought he looked like Paul Rubin's nephew or something.
I'd have to look him up. Alan Cumming, is that the guy that played Nightcrawler?
I believe so.
Is he
He
like
was in a lot of
Scottish?
stuff.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, dude, this movie's fucking dope. And I did forget about Mira Sorvino. I mean, she was in a lot of like action movies where she was like the femme fatale. Always love me some Mira.
Well, well, apparently she was blacklisted. She was a part of that Harvey Weinstein fiasco. Apparently, man, she refused his advances.
Oh, that's crazy that she got pulled into that. Oh, man, there was a cool ass action movie that I saw recently that I forgot about her. But yeah, dude, that's like a name that kind of, she was like on that Elizabeth Shue vibe, you know? She was always like the sexy chick running. She was like the normal chick that gets pulled into some sort of action thing. Or she's gone back to high school, Steve, and lying about some shit, looking cute as hell.
She was the inventor of Post-its. But that same year, 1997, Volcano premieres, and it is directed by Mick Jackson, starring Tommy Lee Jones, Anne Heche, Gabby Hoffman, Don Cheadle, and Keith David. Great
Yeah,
casting.
It's weird they give Keith David such a like a high thing on it because he's in it for like 2 seconds. Because I did watch this, Steve. I made it all the way through, so I can give it that much.
Hmm.
I do want to point out that in 1997, Steve and I did a little research before this because I had a sneaking suspicion about this. This movie came out basically 2 months before or after another volcano movie called Dante's Peak that Pierce Brosnan was in. So Hollywood had a real hard on for cults and apparently volcanic catastrophes. In Volcano, Tommy Lee Jones is an emergency coordination specialist. He's not even like a cop or anything. He sort of is like the guy you call if some disaster happens in a city to coordinate how to fix it. So he's got a daughter. They have a bad relationship because he's always working. He's a single father. And then in LA, apparently under it is a gigantic volcano that after an earthquake opens up, and he basically fights lava and a volcano to save Los Angeles. It's not a great movie. You do get to see LA destroyed, and for some of us that live there for a while and have some hurt feelings, that's great. And there's some stuff that looks good. They do a lot of like practical shit that looks pretty cool, but if there's any sort of like computer graphics, it looks god fucking awful. Um,
I'll say this about this movie too. I appreciate when the title lets you know what you're about to step into.
yeah,
Volcano.
yeah.
Romeo and Michelle's
But
high school reunion.
But I gotta give Don Cheadle some credit. He's like Tommy Lee Jones understudy at whatever this emergency place is. And he's the one that's like really calling the shots. He's like the guy at the computer, kind of. He's killing it in this movie. This is that 90s, like Don Cheadle. It's kind of his vibe through his career, like Mr. Cool. He's cool under any
Yeah.
circumstance. But yeah, I mean, if it's free, I paid $2 to rent it. Shame on me. But Tommy Lee could use a couple extra bones. Keith David, Don Cheadle, Anne Heche, rest in peace, is in it. And you know what? As far as natural disaster movies go, it's like I told you earlier. If the quality level of like Twisters down here below the camera, Volcano's at least up, camera level. It's okay. It's not going to disappoint you that much.
The bar was already set from watching Twister so many times.
Yeah. But Dante's Peak, if you're going to watch a volcano movie, Dante's Peak, better. And it's got Pierce Brosnan, who, if I'm given a choice, I'm going with Mr. English Sexy Flexy over Tommy Lee all day.
And besides, Keith David ain't hurting for change. He's taking all those damn voiceover jobs. In 1999, though, WWF is airing Backlash 99 on pay-per-view from Providence Civic Center in Providence, Rhode Island. This is the basically the backlash, literally, of the WrestleMania, and that's what it was designed for. Throughout the years, they've moved this pay-per-view around to like October to November, and just recently, probably a couple years ago, they moved it back to like April, like the month after WrestleMania, to basically kind of follow up on the beefs that were started from WrestleMania. So in this, you had X-Pac trying to seek vengeance against Triple H, who's now kind of one foot in the corporation. What I did love was Goldust against Godfather for the IC strap, and Godfather as the IC champion. Who doesn't love that, man? Of course, he brought his hose out, and it's funny hearing Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler talking about hose. Godfather and his hose. It's funny watching this now. They did it all the time when he came out, but watching this, like these two middle-aged men talking about some hoe. Oh, there's her with the hoe. Oh, the hose. He's got the hose. At this point,
he's got them damn hoes.
Yeah, Blue Meanie is his protege, and Jerry said, Blue Meanie, he had an encounter with the hose, and they said not on the first date.
Oh yeah, fucking king.
Full of those one-liners, man. And the most memorable thing, though, man, this is the pay-per-view where Rock and Stone Cold, they have a match, and they go outside, and The Rock, he basically gives us a POV shot of like what he's seeing. He takes one of the cameras and he's just panning around the crowd, and he turns around and Austin gives him the two bird salute and gives him that stunner, man. He's
Hell
doing
yeah.
his commentary. Oh, look at this piece of trash. Oh, jabroni. Look at this little jabroni. And he's just talking shit. He's panning around the crowd. This is vintage rock. This is my favorite rock. Johnny Bravo rock.
Hell yeah, dude. Shout out to Rock, dude. We talked about it last week, so I don't want to get into it that much, but I don't if is he's gonna wrestle for a while now, but whatever his gimmick is, this last boss or whatever the fuck.
Final
Uh
boss.
yeah, that shit is fucking hilarious. I love it.
I think that was temporary. He might pop in every now and then because he's got Hollywood obligations.
Yeah.
And of course, Deborah McMichael and the breastises just glistening. And, something of note, this is Owen Hart's final pay-per-view match.
So this isn't where that happened,
This
obviously.
isn't where it happened, but this because he didn't have a match in that one. Like
Yeah.
this is his last actual pay-per-view match. And she was escorting him and Jeff Jarrett. And who did they fight? Oh, they fought the New Age Outlaws for the tag straps. And New Age Outlaws, of course, they're gonna win. You know what I'm saying? It's the
Roast a bone for the dog, baby. Dude, hell yeah. But Deborah, shit. I wouldn't kick you out of bed for eating crackers. That's for goddamn sure. God bless you. Did she ever do any like a Playboy spread, Steve? Is there any
I'm not
stuff like
sure, but
that?
I'm gonna Google after we're done recording. And
Yeah,
she
me
her
too.
her origin, yeah, rightfully so. It's Sunday. You'll forgive me, right? And her origin story, she was like Miss Alabama or something like that. And I mean, that makes sense. She looks the part. She's always been gorgeous. But somebody who probably didn't watch this in 1999, I bet you didn't know, Matt.
Who, Steve? Who?
It's probably American singer, songwriter, and producer Roger Troutman passes away at the age of 47 in Dayton, Ohio. Yeah.
Zap? Roger and Zap?
Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Computer love.
It's unfortunate, man. They said it was money issues between him and his brother. They split up Zap, and he went to venture out have a solo career. And once that happened, his brother Larry, who was a part of the band Zap, his funds were just diminishing. And I think it was one of those sibling rivalry kind of deals because Larry, as the story goes, he shot Roger in their home of Dayton, Ohio, their hometown, and just a couple blocks away, he just couldn't live with it, and he shot himself in the head. And the cops found that car. Yeah,
Damn. I didn't know it was that tragic. Damn. Murder
yeah, it's
suicide
unfortunate.
on brothers? Fucking
From brother.
shit.
Yeah,
Damn.
and that, as you would imagine, that caused some friction within the family because they both had children. Actually, I don't know if Roger had children, but the rest, like there were other brothers, and so the kids of Larry, they're kind of apologetic, but they understand. And plus, it wasn't their fault.
Yeah,
It
I
wasn't
mean,
them that
fuck.
did it.
Yeah, but damn,
But
what a fucking awful thing. And but the music, go back and listen to Roger and Zapp or any of the like whatever they did because that shit is fire as fuck.
and man, it will live on, man. Computer love. I just want to be your man. Wasn't one of those songs in a Mallrat, or no, not Mallrats, but didn't Jay and Silent Bob use?
No, they used the Morris Day and Time song,
Yeah,
but the Computer Love was definitely on some movie, and it's because I wouldn't have known about it otherwise. But hell yeah, dude, I listen to Computer Love and I Want to Be Your Man a lot.
man. R.I.P. Man, another OH legend. But any callbacks, honorable mentions, or takeaways, sir?
I just had like a '90s weekend, and I just want to give a shout out to Jean Claude Van Damme because I watched Time Cop, Steve, and aside from some like computer graphics issues, like looking shitty, great time travel movie. And I didn't think it was going to be good. I loved that. I love Time Cop, Steve. I love it.
Really?
It's it's interesting. There's a lot of him going like the time travel like device looks ridiculous and there's a lot of like empty like plot holes around that. But like he'll go to the past or somebody will go to the past, right? And like in this, the bad guy is going back. He has the time travel capability that the government has. And the bad guy is like a guy who wants to become president, and he's getting funds to run his campaign by going back in time and blowing away like people to get gold and shit. So that sounds dumb, but like what will happen is like Jean-Claude will go back in time and try to fix something, and something changes, right? And then he'll go back into where like the future, and then that will have changed, and like there's all this like crazy time travel timey-wimey stuff. So you put like loose terms on it, and I'm not doing a great job of explaining it, but it was way better than I thought it was going to be. And I love a Jean-Claude Van Damme early 90s movie. It's fantastic.
It's
The bad guys look like
you
they
really couldn't
are
go wrong with JCVD in the early 90s, man.
no, and the bad guys in it, you know, they're supposed the future is 2024, I believe, which is hilarious. But the bad guys who are like the toughs basically look like extras from Suburban Commando. That's hilarious. They look fucking stupid as shit. But the movie, dude, solid. So shout out to JCVD and the fucking muscles from Brussels, dude. It's I didn't give it enough credit.
Well, all I got, man, is something I skipped over. 1993, the NFL draft is held that day, and Washington State quarterback Drew Bledsoe is the first pick by the New England Patriots. And he's not a Hall of Famer, but I feel like he has a footnote in the pantheon of greatness, because he's given off two great handoffs career wise. You know, of course, we know about him getting replaced by Tom Brady with the Patriots later. And, you know, he would join the Cowboys. He did all right, but eventually he got injured and he would get replaced by Romo, one of my favorite quarterbacks. And all Cowboys fans know that Romo was a real one. He just never had a line. And Dez caught the ball.
I agree, Steve, with all that. Drew
You know,
Bledsoe, it's crazy he's not in the Hall of Fame because I feel like he was pretty like successful like for what he was, but he had timely injuries that ultimately led to, you know, some legends getting to play instead of him, you know?
he should be eventually. You know, he might be one of those guys that didn't get the first ballot, maybe the second or third year, whatever his eligibility. But I just remember when they first won that Patriots Super Bowl, that first one, and Tom Brady's like in his face, like, yeah, bro, we won. And you could just tell Drew's like, yeah, dude, I'm about to lose my job. But yeah, Super Bowl, man.
I guess I got a ring. Great. I'm gonna pawn that.
Fucking who's this young fucking bitch? But also, man, Living Single, they're airing this episode, Whatever Happened to Baby Sister, and my bae, my first crush, as heard on Crushgasm, Miss Ashley Banks. She's cameos as Queen Latifah's little sister, and she's in town for a track meet, and she's fast. She's out here being fast. And you know, Queen Latifah's one of her coworkers takes her out on a date. She comes back and she's smashed. She's fucking hungover. She's throwing up in trash cans, and she has a track meet the follow. Yeah, she has a track meet the following day. But yeah,
She's
that same
living single.
And one more thing, just on that same day, 96, Martin is airing DMV Blues. And man, I kind of wanted to cover that, but you know, it's been a while since we covered Boy Meets World, and that's filled with classics.
I mean, we have the cult shit. We gotta cover that. That's a very special episode. I mean, a man found his relationship with God, Steve. We gotta just. I'm sorry, Martin. You know you're in the upper echelon. You're in the Hall of Fame, so we'll get to it.
Yeah, you're gonna get your moment. We're suckers for those very special episodes. But please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please tell your sister she can't eat because I'm out full of shit. She can't eat because I'm out full of shit. Do something about it. Do something about it. Can't eat because I'm out full of shit. Please check out Food Show Fanatics. Speaking of eating, with Matt G and Kendra B, check out Crushgasm every Wednesday with Kendra B and our guy Clark the Shark and Podcast. Oh, this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s.
That was the Fat Kids, Steve. was the flat kid. Life wasn't always great, but you know what was? The 90s. Happened in the 90s. Yeah!
A Jose Canseco bat? Tell me, you didn't pay money for this.